Donald Trump decided to sit down for an interview with NBC's Kristen Welker this morning, and it has already become a viral sensation because a very thin-skinned, outraged Donald Trump stormed out of the interview after Kristen Welker repeatedly pointed out that he was basically lying his big orange fat ass off.
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits, because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain with you.
I know.
I've sat in the rain with you for an hour, on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press, because you know what?
Mr. President,
a country can never be great with a dishonest
Listen,
press.
we traveled all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
So what happened was that throughout this interview, Donald Trump would bring up horribly stupid lies, such as, oh, the Capitol rioters were set up by the FBI, and that's why we need the weaponization fund. And she's like, yeah, there's no evidence of that. And he's like, well, there evidence is all around. She's like, no, there's not. Then, of course, he tried to claim that there was massive election fraud all over the country, up to and including California right now. And she said, nope. Nope, that's also not a thing that is backed by any evidence. And then the real fireworks began. Because after Donald Trump had been repeatedly told by Kristen Welker that, of course, there's no evidence to back up literally anything you're saying, Donald Trump decided to attack the messenger. Reality did not fit into his narrative, so he became irate and unhinged and lashed out at Kristen Welker, saying, you're crooked. NBC is crooked. ABC is crooked. And she said, okay, well, there's also no evidence that I am crooked, which I got to hand it to her. That was a pretty funny thing to say. And Trump said, well, you play right into their hands, then you're either crooked or you're stupid, which is Donald Trump's favorite insult for all female reporters. You're a woman, therefore you're stupid. That's what he means. That's what he wants to say. And that, of course, is what he is implying. Or you're totally corrupt. And then Trump said, you play right into their hands with this stuff. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. Do you know that I won an election in a landslide and I got 94% bad press? He keeps throwing that number out and he just made it up. In fact, I think he used to say 97%. So he's changed it a little bit. Then, I don't want to read you the whole transcript, but I got to read this part. Trump says, you're a one-sided crooked network. Sorry, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time. So, of course, the condescending, you're a woman, you darling. And Welker said, Mr. President, please, I traveled all the way to Wisconsin. And Trump said, I've sat in the rain with you. I sat in the rain with you for an hour, on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what? A country can never be great with a dishonest press. So, poor Donnie, the President of the United States, sat outside in the rain for over an hour, waiting for Kristen Welker to arrive. And then, when she talks to him, she's crooked or stupid, or maybe both, who knows, right? There was a huge controversy during the Obama administration when he decided to sit for an interview with then Fox News host Bill O'Reilly. And the controversy, of course, was among the left. We didn't want this guy sitting down for an interview with this charlatan liar. It annoyed us. We weren't happy about it, but Obama did it. And throughout the entire interview, Bill O'Reilly was a total a-hole. Like, total a-hole. Do you know what Obama did? Did he stand up and say that you're crooked or stupid, rip his microphone off and storm out and then be like, I sat in the rain for you? No. He rolled with it. He dodged every single punch that Bill O'Reilly attempted to throw at him. Why? Because he was the one telling the truth and Bill O'Reilly was the one with the lies. O'Reilly kept trying and couldn't land a single blow. And Obama, when it was all over, walked out of there triumphant, showing those of us on the left that we were wrong for being mad about him doing that interview. Trump, on the other hand, got himself into the weeds with his lies, right? He's talking about stuff that she didn't bring up. He did. Causing her to have to be like, yeah, okay, well, if we're going down here, just FYI, none of this is real. You're living in a fantasy land. So can we get back to like what we're actually supposed to be talking about? And he flies off the handle. He is President Baby Bitch. That is what he is. The thinnest skin, biggest pussy I've ever seen in my life. And I apologize if the use of that word offends you, but let's be real. That's what this man is. Any young man in the United States of America needing a role model, please look anywhere else other than this administration. These are the biggest babies on planet Earth. None of these men are actually men. I guarantee you, if you drained each man in this administration, you still wouldn't extract enough testosterone to fill up a shot glass. They are weak. They are pathetic. They are threatened by intelligent women like Kristen Welker, like Caitlin Collins from CNN. They can't stand anyone questioning them, not because they're right, but because they're so disgustingly weak. And their weakness is what is causing so many problems in the United States today. Their inability to focus on anything outside of themselves is destroying the United States.